In this video, I want to show you guys some edit tips that you might not be using on your timeline in Resolve. First tip is extend edits. Let's say you want to add an adjustment clip. If we look at the duration, this one's 10 seconds. If you hit Command comma, we go under editing, under your user tab, we have standard generator duration. This is where the 10 seconds comes from. So if you want to change it to something else, you can change it right here. A lot of times we're working with clips with different lengths. An easier way to extend this rather than just dragging it or entering a duration is if we down arrow to the end of that clip, you can click the right side edge and hit E. And that'll extend that edit out to your playhead. Same thing if you moved your playhead back, select the same selection and hit E again, and you'll trim to the extension here. And that's under the trim menu here. It's just called extend edit, and the shortcut is E. Tip number 2 is stacked timelines. I actually have mine on, but if we look under our source monitor here, we have this little icon and we have a checkbox here for display stacked timelines. If that's off, you could see our little thumbnail tab goes away here. If I click on it and enable it, you can see we have tabs here to enable timelines. You can either use this drop down menu and choose a timeline, or you can hit this plus icon and select another timeline there. So you could bounce back and forth between the timelines like this. You can also get out of it there. But for true stacked timelines, we're going to come over here by our audio controls. And there's a little box that sort of looks like the timeline with a plus on it. If you click that, you can see we get a whole new timeline opens up below our main timeline. You can now use this drop down to choose an alternate timeline. So let's say up here on the top is your main edit, and down on the bottom maybe you have B-roll, drone footage, graphics, whatever you need. You can actually bounce between the two to keep one timeline open while you look through the other. So let's grab this clip here. If we wanted to choose this, we can hit Command C. We can click up here in the top timeline. You'll see our playhead turns red. And if I navigate to the end of the sequence and hit paste or F10, you can see that clip now gets added to that timeline. You can actually add quite a few of these timelines if you wanted to, just by clicking this plus sign down here, and it'll add more timelines if you wanted to work that way. Now to get out of these timelines, there's a little X box in the right side, right next to your plus for each timeline, and just click that X, and that'll take you back to your default view. Another new feature in the Resolve update is using C to navigate your playhead where your mouse cursor is. Normally when you're going to scroll through footage, you'd use your JKL or click up here on the ruler and drag. It's a lot smoother if we hit C and drag our mouse. As you can see, it just follows wherever I move my mouse cursor. And to enable this, you just go to your keyboard preferences. So I'm going to go to Resolve menu up at the top here under keyboard customization. And if we tap on mouse right here, you can see the shortcut's called zoom around mouse pointer. And I made it a C. It does have a keyboard conflict, but it's basically doing the same thing inside the application. So now instead of clicking up here, which seems kind of like not a big deal, you can just stay where you want and hit C, and your playhead snaps to your mouse location, and you can shuttle through your footage a lot faster. Next tip is how to move your footage around and select clips on your timeline. If you want to select anything to the right of your playhead, you can hit Option+Y, and as you can see, it highlights everything to the right of the playhead, and I can click and deselect. If you hit Command Option+Y, it'll choose everything to the left of your playhead, but if we zoom in, you can actually see that the clip our playhead was touching gets chosen as well. So let's say you wanted to leave this particular clip, you'll have to scoot your playhead back a little, then make that selection, and as you can see, everything to the left of the playhead is chosen. This helps if you got some tedious edits or maybe a couple of small clips that might be hard to get by just clicking and dragging. Now let's say you want to swap clips. If we look at this shot here, and a lot of people will lift the clip out of the timeline, move a clip over. There's an easier way to do that. You can actually select your clip and hit Command, Shift, comma, and it'll go to the left. And if you hit period, it'll swap the clip to the right. You can actually do multiple clips at once. So let's say we wanted to grab these 3 clips, same shortcut, Command, Shift, comma, and it swaps those clips. It's a lot more efficient than lifting and dragging your clips up. Another new feature is your search menu with Shift+Space. This will pop up a menu much like your Fusion, and now you could type in the effect that you need. So here, if I wanted to add an effect to this clip here, let's zoom in. Instead of searching it down in your Effects tab, you can just hit Shift+Space. You could type blur, and if you wanted, say, a Gaussian blur, double click it. And as you can see, it's now added to this clip here and shows up in the inspector where you can change its parameters here. Another feature I wanted to show you is you can change your transition type inside the inspector. So here I have a transition, it's on blur dissolve. You can actually click your transition and drag it out if you needed to change duration. It'll actually tell you the name if it has enough space. But you can click on it, and inside your inspector now you can see we have control over the duration. So you can click and drag for the frames. You can tell it whether you want it on the A side, across the cut, or on the B side of the edit. And you can also use this drop-down menu to choose a different kind of transition without having to reinstall it. So here, if we wanted to switch to just cross dissolve, you can click on that and it'll switch to a cross dissolve type without having to change your transition inside the timeline. So it remains in place and the timing's the same, but you can choose the different effect here without having to delete it and add it again. All right, so those are some tips for navigating, extending your edits, using stacked timelines, and a couple other things. All right, hope that helps. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.